and welcome back to another Sims 4 speed build video. So guess what I did? I finally found out a way to do my little I think I told you guys before, I have this weird stand situation where my microphone stand does not face where my laptop is because my laptop is not on my desk because my desk cannot support a mic stand. So I've got a freestanding one, which is technically my tripod. It's my camera tripod and it's got my mic tight against it. And what I do is that I am normally facing away from my laptop. So what I was originally using beforehand was I was using the reflection in my mirror to see what's going on in my builds. But then I remembered I have a TV. So what can I do with that TV? Please ignore the rumbling in the background. It's either an airplane, a helicopter, probably a helicopter, just going overhead. But I was like, I've got a TV. So do you know what I can use? I can use that TV. So I've now wirelessly connected the laptop and the TV, so I can now see what's going on with my builds whilst also talking to you guys, which just makes the entire situation so much better. But anyway, enough of that. Today I am creating, well, I have created the Grand Tartosa Hotel, where all of your famous Sims come along and enjoy their amazing journeys going along. I would be so terrible at doing all of those kinds of things because well, technically, if I had a script, I think I could probably, if I wrote a script, I could probably do it. But anyway, besides the point, I made this hotel. So this hotel has been, I think, the longest building process I've ever had in my entire, okay, I'm not going to say my entire journey as a builder because you've never seen it because I built it 4 years ago before I even started this channel. But privately, I created this super massive shopping center. And it was so grand that I completely forgot that one, my PC could not handle it because my PC it is a Lenovo from 2010. So it most definitely, it still runs on Windows 7. So it most definitely could not have handled The Sims 4 and what I was creating. And I made it so expansive that I forgot that I can only have like about 20 Sims on the lot per time. So it just felt almost liminal. That makes me feel like maybe I might have to like boot up my PC, download that into my gallery so I can download it into my laptop and like, see, I feel like I want to download some of my builds and just show you guys the ones that are on my PC and download them onto my laptop. It's just I have no idea what CC I used. Did I even use that much CC for that? I'm not even sure. But that shopping center it was so huge. And it wasn't just the shopping center. It also had like an adjacent build side thing that had its own things like hairdressers, hair bubbles, two separate things. They were not the same thing. There were two separate things. And then it had like a furniture store, it had a sports store, it had a whole massive food court. So it wasn't just like one food place. It was like 4 or 5 different types of food places. And yeah, it was so huge. It was massive. But anyway, apart from that, I told myself since this is a CC build, I will be talking about the build because it's good to talk about the CC along with the build. Now, as you saw, it's because I was rambling about all kinds of nonsense beforehand. This is the Grand Tartosa Hotel. And basically, I decided to make this. I look at it now. It should have gone in my celebrity save file because it just would have looked so much better. But no, I put it in my baby save file, which, if you don't know, real quickly, my baby save file is my own private save file, which I just love to use and play off screen. And it's just it's just a very calm save file. It's heavily inspired off of like Australia and stuff like that. I don't know why. I just had a massive hyperfixation when I first created it. So I made it. But no, this is supposed to go in my celebrity save file because it's so grandiose and I can just imagine the sim actually. If you watched the lavender field build, which was one of my favorite builds, come on guys, it's like, it's so sick. Not to toot my own horn because honestly, I really love that build. But with the lavender fields build, there was this one sim I told you guys that she's a really big Latin American singer that I've created. And she would do so well performing in this lounge, because I think the cinematic intro is one of my favorite. And look, these are one of my favorite sims, one of my favorite intros, one of my favorite builds. It's just it's all together. Because the sims that you saw in the beginning is, if you've followed me on TikTok before I even started this YouTube page, there was these two sims that I would follow along with the journey. And these sims that I used in the beginning is the youngest daughter of those sims. And when I say youngest, I mean her big sister is about to turn into an elderly sim, and she's just turned into a young adult. And her parents have been since passed. So like she's very, very young compared to everyone else. But she's the one that I've been a bit like interested in. She's also the sim that was the child sim in the townhouse build in Oasis Spring that had like the basketball court, that one. Yeah, so like she's all grown up now, and she came here with her husband, and they were just having a little bit of a date night, and it was cute, and it was everything. But yeah, she's like the one I've been playing with at the moment. And honestly, I love her so much. The thing is though, she's not a singer. I just thought she just reminded me like she was like, I was like getting Tina Turner vibes from her. So I was like, okay, let me have you do a little bit of a concert. And I was not expecting that. I do have it's not a concert mod. I think we had the Sims 4 festivals that I was completely unaware of during 2020. So with that, I used this mod which allows you to have consistent concerts, so you can have even the actual concert stage thingy. I didn't use that. I just used the microphone, but she performed, and I was like, this is giving Tina Turner, this is giving Marilyn Monroe. This is it reminds me, especially the dress as well with it. It was just like, it was giving me this like kind of 90s, 50s vibe to it. And I was like, okay, she's perfect. Please perform. So yeah, she's, part of my favorite family within the save file, like my favorite family ever. And, she's not the main family, but she could be, because I'm growing, she's growing on me. And I would love to say that she's the one I completely created, but I would love to say the male sim is the one that I completely created, but it wasn't. The male sim is just a sim off the gallery that I tweaked a little bit to my vibe. But, yeah, so they're because I'm better doing female sims than I am doing male sims. Like, I think a lot of you guys know that struggle. I struggle so, because they always end up looking like teachers. Like, and it's not like teachers is like a bad thing, but they just look like teachers. I always make them look very formal, very stern, and they never go outside of that box of just being very formal, very stern. They look like they're just here to educate you. They look like they always have sweater vests. They've always got very formal hairstyles, glasses half the time. I don't know what goes in my head. I think it's the inner dark academia in me that just comes out every single time I make a male sim, and I just always make them overly formal because I just like formality. So yeah, so I ended up just downloading another sim in order not to do that. But now thinking about it, as much as I make sims that look like teachers, I don't make a lot of sims that are teachers. There was that one teacher in my university house build, and yeah, he's still like thriving to get that degree. But yeah, beyond that, anyways, back to this build. Yeah, so if you saw in the cinematic intro, there was those two amazing sims, which also, again, I know you guys have been asking if these sims go on the gallery. I will put them on the gallery if you guys want it. But the problem is that they have so much CC in them. Like, and I don't know if I can make a CC list with how much CC is on them. Oh yeah, here's me, right? I'm doing the, what is it? What do you call it? It's like, is it, I'm also doing it here. What do you call them? Turnstiles? I think, yeah, the turnstiles. So yeah, I thought the thing that I think of when I think of hotels, I think of turnstiles. So I was really like anticipating, hoping, begging that these will work, because yeah, obviously we've got some really good doors in the game. We've got some really good doors, and I know I have done quite a bit of the landscaping off camera, but I'll explain that in a second. But we do have quite a few doors in the game, but I was just like, especially the ones we got as if from Get to Work, those ones with the fancy lines and everything, like those are beautiful. But I was like, no, hotels, turnstiles, hotels, big, like overarching, like veranda cover thingies, amazing, perfect. That's what I need. So that's what I decided to do. And let me tell you, those turnstiles were the most annoying thing to use because I've done the inner flooring, so you can see a bit of the like flooring and floor plan and stuff like that from the outside, but I've done the entire, I always do the floor plan off screen if it's a big build, because I promise you that takes me at least 2 hours, and I'm not, that's a lot of me struggling. But I did do the floor plan, and every single time I added a new wall, it would remove the inside rounded section of those turnstiles. So I always have to copy and paste and reinsert it. And because the problem is you can't draw a semicircle, so you have to always use like the pre-made rooms or the pre-made platforms or something like that. So I always just copy the front and copy it back, but then I'm copying the doors as well, so I always have to delete it. And it happened every single time I added a wall, and I only noticed this because I was adding a wall. So then I just decided, okay, what's the best thing to do in this situation? I know what to do. Just do the entire floor plan, then come back and do it. And even then, sometimes you had to be a bit careful with it because it wasn't working the way you wanted to do, because rounded walls are so beautiful, but they're the most annoying thing ever. But anyway, here I'm doing all of the like debug stuff and landscaping stuff, and honestly, this is one of my best landscapings I have ever done, best uses of the debug menu, and that's saying something, because again, really love that lavender fields villa that I created. But the thing is with this build is like, you didn't want to do too much. You wanted to do just enough, but you wanted it to be classy, extravagance. You didn't want it to have it like fully all out. And since it's such a big build, you didn't want to have too much debug that it ends up slowing the game, because you're going to notice when you go into the house tour that it is a little bit laggy, because again, my computer can't hack these types of builds. But I was like, less is more here, just have it subtly nice. But to do the lines on the grass thingy that I love so much, I did the method I've seen from Jessica Pye, which is you use the terrain paint instead of using the floorings, and it looks so much more natural, so much more subtle. And originally, before, I didn't know how to do it, because if you go to my Castle High School build, you'll see I try and do it, but it doesn't work out for me. But this time, I remember you have to put the grid back on and follow along the lines, which I was never that great of a colorer. I was always coloring outside of the lines, so this was a challenge for me. But when I did take off the grid and I saw it, I was like, this is so beautiful, and it meshes so much nicer, and I'm obsessed. I love it. So that's what I did for that. And then for the parking spaces, I used the concrete floor. I feel like floor terrain paints, like terrain paints, are so much better than flooring for when you're doing things for the outside, which makes sense because, you know, terrain outside and all of that. But they're so much better because they look so much more natural, and I really love how that parking space is. And speaking of the parking space, so as you can see, the front is beautiful, amazing, looks like the front of a this looks like a hotel guy. But anyway, the front looks amazing. It looks like the front of a hotel, but the back also looks amazing. And the entire time, you don't see it on camera, but the entire time I was thinking, should I flip this over? Because when you see it on the gallery, or when you first spawn into the lot, you will see what I'm looking at right now, which is the fountain, and there's going to be a sculpture in a second, which looks so blended, so beautiful, so amazing. But yeah, this is the part you'll see if you saw it on the gallery, and the back is the back part, obviously. But then I ended up looking at the lots like an exterior view, and I realized that the back side of the lot where I've put the cars, there's also a road there, and I was like, you know what, I didn't mean to do this, but it's perfect. It's perfect because now it makes sense that this is where the cars would have gone and parked, and then you will have to either walk through the back entrance, or you can walk through the front entrance, or you can swing your car over. So I can imagine those do you know the 3 little black things that's like car stoppers? I imagine those are like operated up and down. So when a car needs to approach around the front, they'll slide down and they'll swing around the front and come back out if you need to. So for example, if you have a guest that's coming over and the guest doesn't want to go through the back entrance, they want to go through the front entrance because for whatever reason they just do, you can have those come down by security and swing around. This is like hypothetical. Use your imagination, because it can't happen. is the Sims, but use your imagination of that's what would happen. And that's why there's those 2 beautiful cars from Max 20 at the front. And I said this before, anytime that I use CC and I'm able to use cars, I will always use Max 20's car CC pack, because it's one of the best CC packs, because it's so subtle, but it's one of those CC packs that we have a lot of CC, and I'm so grateful for every single CC creator that takes time out there to create amazing CC and then like gives it us for free, because it's like you've put so much work. Like I've tried to use Blender before and I cried. It was like, it's just such a long process, but there is so much CC out there of things that we necessarily already have. So like, I'm not going to say specifics, but we do have a lot of CC of things that we have a lot of CC of. So to have a car, and I know we do have quite a bit of car CC, but it's not exactly in the style that Max 20 did it. And Max 20 did it in such a perfect Maxis match style that it was amazing. And I'm honestly so happy to have it. But yeah, a lot of the things for this hotel, what inspired this, by the way? What inspired this is that I heard rumors of us potentially getting something to do with hotels. I might eat my words. I don't necessarily think it's true, just because we've been speculating about getting hotels for how long now? For years. And the previous time we speculated that we were going to get hotels, we ended up getting apartments. And honestly, as much as I would really, really love hotels and resorts, and I feel like that is a much needed aspect of the game, because if we go into Project Renaissance, right, and we don't have hotels, it's going to be one of the times that we had a part of a Sims world / pack that has been unfulfilled. For example, Sims 2, we had resorts and hotels. Sims 3, we had resorts and hotels. Did they function the way they should do? Mine did. A lot of people's didn't. So Sims 4, it makes more sense that we will have hotels. And I was thinking of using this as a for rent version, so making it a rental. But then I looked at it and I was like, don't want to. You could if you wanted to, but you don't have to. And I necessarily didn't feel like just going through that, especially when I had to do a cinematic intro. I was like, okay, I need to have access to all the rooms, and for rent does make the rooms close off, which I actually don't even mind, because when you are living in an apartment space, obviously you can't see someone else's apartment. When you're living in a townhouse, you can't see someone else's townhouse. So I was like, okay, it's fine. I don't mind that aspect, but I don't, and I wouldn't, okay. How I describe it is that I don't necessarily want it to be open, but I don't want it to be entirely blocked off. I want it to be borderline, like not blurred, but kind of blurred, if you understand what I mean. So it's like, I'm aware that the Sims are in there, but it doesn't show me exactly what the Sims are doing. So it gives the Sims like some kind of privacy or something. But anyway, I'm going off the point. So what I ended up setting this to is I set it to a bar, just because I wanted, if anything, the Sims to congregate around the bar area, the lounge area. Because there's numerous amount of things you can set this to. You can set this to, if you don't, because the thing is, you can set it as the multi-residential or residential rental, or you could download one of the many hotel CC mods we have and actually turn it into a hotel. It's just, I'm not in the mood to test out new script CC that I don't 100% want, just because it could end up crashing my game. And this did crash, which brings me back to the point of why there was just randomly already done grass and pathways and fences and everything like that. The first time I did it, my game crashed. So I was like, okay, I can't use that footage because my game crashed in the middle of it and I needed to look the exact same. So, and that did annoy me then, but it was like, I'm more happy that it crashed during happier. I realize I do that as well. I say more happier. That is not correct grammar. I'm happy that it happened during, the procedure of doing that, rather than if I did anything extensive with debug. And it was such a simplistic, land planning kind of thing that I was like, okay, I can easily recreate this. It was lost 25 max minutes of footage. So I booted up the game again and I did it again. Remembered to save it straight after doing it, only for me to realize I never even recorded it in the first place, which left you guys with this surprise area. But yeah, I did turn this into a bar, but you can turn it into a numerous amount of things. You can turn it into a spa if you wanted to. You can turn it into a generic lot. You can turn it into a karaoke lot. Just make sure you add the karaoke stuff. What else can you turn it into? There is just so many things. You could even, if you wanted to, convert the gym area, make that into a kitchen, and make this into a restaurant, and it will still function the way you need it. You can even make this into a wedding venue, just where, I don't know where you'll put the arch. But yeah, you can even make this into a wedding venue. You can make this into a multitude of other things. But I made it into a bar because that's where I wanted my Sims to congregate. But anyway, so what CC I used within this pack? Oh, this. I'm saying these things as if I've wrote them down like in a point list. I haven't, but I really wanted to tell myself that this time around I am going to discuss with CC and what I'm doing, just because I am using CC and it will be beneficial if I did. But I'm going to try and do, when I do the CC list, CC that I use quite a lot, which is the paneling, so the wallpaper for this. And most of the plants, those are the CC. I use the plants a lot. But beyond that, I'm gonna do everything most important to least important order. Even though very much like everything is almost borderline really important, because I try to keep the packs again to a minimal. And I hope when I find out what CC I've used in this, that it doesn't tell me that I've used some obscure CC like that really I shouldn't have added, and I don't know what I've added. But I would say, for example, the windows, and I think you kind of saw at the start that I was like messing around with like in-game content, but then I realized, no, this has to be a CC build. It's just, though it is a CC build, I have took into account that a lot of you are console players or just don't mess with CC like that. I will do another hotel, not next week. Probably not the week after, but probably like in July, I'll do a non-CC hotel. Because as I said before, I'm going to remove this and put this in my celebrity save file. So I'm going to probably make another hotel in this world, but better suited to aesthetics of my baby save file. And how you could spot the aesthetics between my celebrity save file and my baby save file is that my celebrity save file will have mid-century houses, or will have like houses that are better suited for Brindleton Bay, or have some sort of the worlds I use for my celebrity save are the Del Sol Valley, Strangerville main one, Del Sol Valley. What else do I use? I use and Brindleton Bay. Like those are like I'll say the main ones are Strangerville and Brindleton Bay, but then Del Sol Valley, just because Del Sol Valley is the place of Get Famous, and I use sometimes occasionally on San Machino. But those are the ones. So anything built then 9 times out of 10 will belong in my celebrity save file. But anything built in, well, actually, and Tartosa is shared between the celebrity save file and my baby save file, because Tartosa has a beach, and that is great for my baby save file, just because that's with the Australian vibe. They need a beach, and there's no beach at Oasis Rings. And Solani seems too out of the realm of what would be the aesthetics for it. So I used Tartosa, and it flew my celebrity save file on this one. And Tartosa I use as like a vacay place for all the celebrities. But yeah, so I will put this in my celebrity save file. And what was I talking about before I said that? But also, just before I get into the point about the CC, what I want to say is that with this build, it looks really nice in Tartosa, the Grand Tartosa Hotel. It looks great in Tartosa, but I think it would also look fabulous in Brindleton Bay, and Brindleton Bay specifically, that one lot that I'm thinking of, and in maybe Windenburg, probably Windenburg. Those would be like great places to put this lot. Also, okay, the elevators. I really wanted to make the hotel, like I said before, because a lot of people have been talking about hotels, but also because there are these really beautiful elevators I downloaded from, I think it's SYB, because they had just so many different types of elevators and I wanted them so badly. And there was this one that looks quite old, is the one that I've used in this build, and I was like, okay, there are a multitude of builds I can use using this. One is a very Eastern European style build, and another one is a very it was built in the 1920s to 1940s types of like hotel, and I was like, okay, let me use it for this hotel. And I feel like this hotel really does add to the vibe. And if you stay and watch the entirety of the tours, or even if you skip the tours and go to the part where I suggest the next video you should watch, so the part that says thanks for watching, I even make it all echoey and it feels all very liminal space and everything like that because of the vibe of this hotel being like that. Or like I just imagine it is a very old hotel. And it was built around the time of the second wave development of Tartosa, and they decided to see that there was a tourist value of Tartosa. I imagine Tartosa was its own thing, and then some people came along and said, "Ooh, I could capitalize on this," and this is the hotel they made. But then a lot of people were like, "No, you cannot," and then this became back into the hands of the Tartosian people, and now this is one of the main hotels used by the Tartosian people. I've added a lot of lore, a lot of even quite realistic to real life lore, but yeah, that's what I ended up using. But yeah, those elevators are just one of the reasons why I wanted to do this. Another thing is that I downloaded the hotel CC pack by Sixa, the names will be in the CC list, but I remember I downloaded that hotel pack and I use it quite often for either the light switches or the suitcases. And I was like, you know what? I've never truly used the full extent of this. Like I've always like dabbled in it, but I never used the full extent of it. So let me do that. And with that, I decided to, you know what? It's time. It's time that I build this hotel that I've always thought about. Another thing that's really huge within this, I use a lot of the Berlin pack by Felix Andre for like good majority of the structure. So like windows, the doors are actually the London pack by Felix Andre. But yeah, I use a good majority of all of those things when it comes to the structure. So Felix Andre, and the wallpaper is also London by Felix Andre. So like I feel like Felix Andre is a really key CC creator. You need to have the actual structure of the build. The interior, the carpet, like you're looking at right now, is the hotel pack, so you don't need to worry about that. But the wallpaper is the same. I always forget the creator. I downloaded this initially when I started playing the game because I love paneling wallpaper, so that is the creator. I use the not Felix Andre, neither are they SIXA. Anyone like that is just completely own creator of their own. But again, I think the Peacemaker, that's the name, Peacemaker, and they will be in the CC list below as well. What else I used in this pack? I am rapidly becoming obsessed with the Nostalgia pack by A Winged Llama. Like I was telling myself, don't use it, don't use it, don't use it. You've used it in your past how many CC create. Don't use it, there's nothing that needs that. But then I remembered this is inspired between the 1920s and 1940s. And is that not nostalgia? So I ended up using it for literally lamp paintings and the wall sockets, and that's it. A whole CC pack for 3 things. Honestly, you could just not use it and just try and find your own artwork, which makes me think. Also, I've been thinking of it. If I ever learn how to use Blender, the first thing I'm going to create is wall art, because I know you can use the gallery and bring in art from there. But it's just not the same as having a frame made and stuff like that. I love wall art, and I don't like using the same wall art all the time, but I feel like I do. So if I ever learn how to make any sort of like original CC, not just recolorings, I will make my own wall art, because I feel like we just need so much more, so much more. But yeah. With, what was I on about? Oh yeah, I was talking about the CC I use. So here, as you can see, I'm filtering by CC. And when it comes to the rooms, I'm jumping between 2 types of CC. So I'm jumping between the hotel CC pack and the Eliza's bedroom CC pack. Eliza's bedroom I use for the scones on the wall, and I use them for the bed frames and the, wardrobe / walk-in closet, because I feel like that is like a necessity of it. And what else do I use? I use the Felix Andre Grove for the wallpapering, and I use the Felix Andre Chateau for the actually I think that's Harry. It's either Felix Andre or Harry or Hearts of Helix, but it's I use the Chateau kit, both 1, 2, 3. I think I use all of the parts for it to create the staircasing, to create the flooring for the the main floors and everything like that. And I also used it for the mirrors, for the what do you call them? The counters in the bathrooms and everything like that. And I use this, I think it's in Modern Luxe. I use Modern Luxe when it comes to the entry counters and when it comes to the chandeliers, because the Modern Luxe is so beautiful when it comes to those chandeliers and those counters. And then here's me fighting with myself. Should I use Aunt Vera for the bathroom? So it's the Aunt Vera pack. I think that's Felix Andre as well. I could be mistaken though, because I'm not sure. I think that's PS Sims. Yeah, that's PS Sims. God, I'm so obsessed with The Sims to the point that I can remember these things by heart. But yeah, I think I use the Aunt. I fight it, but I then do use the Aunt Vera pack just because I needed the glass covering thingies for the walk-in shower. But yeah, and then I also use the office kit, I think by PS Sims as well, for printers and computers in the main desk area. And I think, yeah, I talked about Max 20 for the cars. I think that is the gist of things. I don't really use anything beyond those points. Yeah, that's the CC. Anyway, just look at the CC list in case I'm wrong, but that's what I use. And there are 2 types of rooms in this build. There are 2 rooms for the Honeymoon Suite, which is basically an entire room, a mini kitchen area, walk-in wardrobe, and a massive bathroom. And then there's also the twin suite, which is a double bedroom that has a connecting bathroom into a 2 twin room. And there are 2 of those, so there's 1 of each on each level. So there's like 4 altogether, and you could probably house like maybe like 12 to 16 Sims. I'm not too sure. Oh, and I also use the same curator as the Eliza bedroom for the bar area and the sign at the front and everything like that. But yeah, that is the hotel that I've been so excited to tell you guys about. And I'm really, honestly, I really would love to know what you think about it, because I really, really do love it. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. But if you don't want to, that's also okay. I appreciate you staying this long and listening to all of my ramblings. Also, don't forget to leave a comment down below. I read all of your comments, the more the merrier. And I'll see you guys in the next video.